Everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, then you probably know how big of a fan I am of the iPad. I use the M4 iPad Pro as my main computer, and I've always said that the iPad mini is the perfect iPad for content consumption. You see, when I got the M4 iPad Pro, I didn't think I would use it so much for content consumption. I thought I would primarily use it for just productivity and getting some serious work done. But because Apple made the new M4 iPad Pro drastically thinner and lighter, it was less cumbersome to hold, and it kind of made it more portable than ever before, even with its larger screen. And when I would go to coffee shops and stuff, I would just take my iPad Pro with me because obviously I can get some serious work done. And if I want to catch an episode of my favorite show or read a few pages of a book that I'm currently reading, I can do all of that on that device. And I started to realize that I use the iPad Pro so much that I don't know if there's really a need for the iPad mini in my life. It's a device that I really loved at one point, but I don't think I need it anymore. And I actually did an entire video of me talking about I'm actually considering selling this and just going all in on the iPad Pro. But before selling it, I was actually planning my trip, my honeymoon actually, to Europe. And my wife and I, we went to London, Milan, and Lake Como, and we had a great time. And for that trip, I was thinking about what should I do, because I don't want to take too much stuff with me. I just want to take my carry-on, and I want to take this new crossbody that I got, which is great for travel because I could keep my passport, my wallet, and my extended battery pack for my iPhone in there, and just have everything in that crossbody and just have my carry-on. And that's it. And the whole goal was that I didn't want to focus too much on working on this trip. I wanted to go and explore these nice countries and just have fun. But at the same time, I knew that I still needed to get some light work done. There are still a lot of emails that I will need to respond to. There are going to be documents and slide decks that I'll have to review as well. So I still needed a device where I could do that. And yes, I could technically do that on my iPhone, but when I'm traveling, I like to preserve the battery life on my iPhone as much as I can and just use that device for taking pictures and videos and, receiving and sending messages and phone calls. Because when I'm traveling, I like to leave early in the morning and come back to my hotel room late at night and just to go to bed and prepare for the next day. So for the first time ever, I decided to travel with the iPad mini. And surprisingly, I never did that before. I always took my larger iPad or my Mac with me or a Kindle with me. And this is the first time that I'm taking the iPad mini. So I thought, let's take it on this trip. And after I come back, I'll sell it. And now I don't want to sell it anymore because I really love the iPad mini. If anything, I discovered on this trip how much I love the iPad mini. It was like, loving a device all over again and realizing that this is the perfect travel companion. And I do travel quite a bit. And I'm going to take this with me every time I travel now. So the first thing that I did on my iPad mini is I decluttered it. I'm kind of like a minimalist. And with the iPad mini, I treat it like the ultimate minimalistic device, only having apps for content consumption like Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Prime Video, and Apple Books for reading books. But I also downloaded other apps on this too for my travel, such as Uber, British Airways, the local train station apps, and had all my hotel information and flight itinerary all on this. And I also downloaded maps on here as well. So what I realized with the iPad mini is that while I was traveling, I really enjoyed how I could just take this out of my crossbody, look things up, and just travel with it. And there were so many moments where I would go into a coffee shop just to take a break and, enjoy some coffee. And I could just read a few pages of my book, catch up on some emails, review some documents. And it was fantastic to do that on this. And to be very honest, a lot of the places that I went had Wi-Fi, and I really enjoyed that. And what I realized is, I use my iPhone a lot for taking pictures and videos, and I always get frustrated by, the battery life. But for the first time ever, I had a ton of battery life and I didn't have to worry about it because I have another device to enjoy movies and shows and reading books on and, grabbing an Uber or booking a train. I could do that all with my iPad mini. The best part is that it's not cumbersome to hold at all. It's so thin, it's so light, it's like a paperback book, and there's so much you can do on it. So I got the full large iPad experience on the iPad mini, and it almost became like a hybrid between my iPhone and a larger iPad. So at the end of the day, I love the iPad mini. It's become my ultimate travel companion now, and I'm going to take this with me every time I travel. And throughout the entire trip, I actually used this cover from ESR. It's a lot like the Smart Folio cover that Apple sells, but it's a lot cheaper. I think it's anywhere between 15 to 20 bucks. It also has this nice magnetic flap as well to enclose the iPad into this. Really thin, really light, really cheap, and way better than the more expensive Smart Folio that Apple sells. So if you're interested in this, I'll have the link to this in the description below as well. But at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the iPad mini? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you expect more from it? Whatever your comments are, whatever your thoughts are, leave them down in the comment section below. But as always, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you next time.